Beneath the golden sun of West Africa lies a haunting legacy, one written not in ink, but in blood, chains, and silence. Centuries ago, Ghana, then known as the Gold Coast, was not just a land of kings and riches. It became the epicenter of a human tragedy, the transatlantic slave trade. In the 15th century, the Portuguese arrived, then the Dutch, the Danes, the British. They came for gold. But they found something more profitable: humans. Through brutal alliances and betrayal, European traders struck deals with some African rulers. Local kingdoms helped capture men, women, and children from rival tribes. In exchange, firearms, alcohol, beads, and illusions of power. King Tegli of Anlo, known to have traded slaves with the Danes. The Ashanti Kingdom, one of the most powerful empires in West Africa, actively participated in the slave trade. King Kwaku Duawint of Ashanti, though known for consolidating power, allowed slave trading to flourish under his reign. The Fante Confederacy, who sometimes acted as brokers for British and Dutch slavers. Inside the cold stone walls of Cape Coast and Elmina castles, thousands were packed like shadows. They were dragged to these dungeons, stripped of names, language, and dignity. Hundreds packed into suffocating cells with no light, no water, no hope. And when the time came, they were led through the door of no return. A passage to death, to unknown lands. Once you passed it, you never saw Africa again, never to see their homeland again. On the slave ships, they were chained like cargo, bodies pressed together, no room to move. They were stacked like logs, bodies barely breathing, chained together for weeks. Hunger, sickness, despair, disease, and stench filled the air. Many didn't survive the journey, but they were counted as loss, like spoiled goods, thrown into the ocean like waste. But even in the darkest corners of the trade, there was resistance. African warriors fought back. Gaspar Yanga, a Ghanaian-born slave who led a successful rebellion in Mexico. Otto Bakugwano, a Ghanaian enslaved at 13, later freed and became a major abolitionist voice in Britain. Kwabna Otoba, one of the earliest African voices against slavery in print. They were not just victims, they were warriors, survivors, voices that refused to stay silent. Some kingdoms also resisted, not all rulers agreed, and among the enslaved, resistance was constant. Rebellions on ships, sabotage. They communicate secretly through songs. By the late 1800s, the tide began to turn. Abolitionist voices in Europe and resistance from within led to the official banning of the trade. Kings like King Nana Dokwa of Akiem denounced slavery, but by then, millions were gone. King Agre of Akwamu eventually denounced the trade, but scars remained. Today, Ghana stands tall, free, proud, a place of return for the descendants of the enslaved, a country reclaiming its story, honoring its ancestors. Today the castles still stand, ghosts whisper in the stone. Asin Manso Slave Riverside, where captives took their last bath before entering the dungeons. The Door of Return, a symbolic monument built for the descendants of the enslaved returning home. They are evidence, they are echoes of history. Subscribe for more untold African histories. Our stories matter. Let's tell them together.